Hey, there we are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be where you are. Welcome back to my live stream. My name is Jeff Fritz, and today is February 5th, 2019. I've got my, what is that? It's a Ford Mustang hat on. Had a little bit of a horse issue yesterday here at the Fritz house. Everybody's okay. Everybody's doing well. Thank you so much, all these folks that are here already for our stream today. It's because today we're pair programming. We're pair programming with Lannon BR today. That's Benjamin Lannon. Hey Ben, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff.
Oh my gosh, I'm thrilled that you're able to join us. Why don't you give folks a quick intro about who you are and what we're going to be doing today?
Okay, yeah. So, hi, I'm Benjamin Lannon. I'm a web developer up in upstate New York, and today we were talking about, and we were thinking, what if we did some sentiment analysis on Twitch chat to see, how positive we actually are.
Yeah, right. This is one of the knocks that folks have around video, and you hear this all the time around folks on YouTube, where they've got the what's it called? Right, it's that law, Godwin's law, right? Where it doesn't matter what you're talking about. You could have folks with a picture of a puppy. Somewhere, somehow, it's going to devolve into Nazism and people arguing over the stupidest things. Let's see if we can measure just how positive folks are in the chat room. I think it's a great idea, and it's going to be a lot of fun to build. So we've already got a little bit already built here with our Stream Tools package. Feels like that's a right place to start here. And I see some folks, I see Gumshoe in the chat room already saying, might be for a Elgato Stream Deck. Well, we'll give one of those away a little bit later today here. I think we'll set up a raffle for that. So what do you think? Let's jump over to Visual Studio and start talking about the project?
Yeah, let's go. Cool.
Alrighty. So I'm going to swing over here. Look at that. It's like we've been working together this whole time. It's all set up, ready to go. I should jump on to a different feature branch. I'm still in the code suggestion feature that we've been working on previously. We haven't come back into this project in a while. So I'm just going to pop open PowerShell here and create a new branch for us to work on. It's in my Stream Tools folder. You see I'm still on that branch. Now, do you think I should branch from this branch, or should I branch off of my dev branch? I think
dev would be good because it's separate. It's a separate feature. So
okay. So this way we keep our different features separate, and we can merge them together as they're completed. So okay. I'm going to call this feature sentiment widget. I think that.
Yeah, it could work.
Okay. How's it going, chat room? Lots of folks I see. Off Zero Bobby and Hugo's here. Rambling Geek. Hey, Veronica and Janescu. Gumshoe, of course. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. We're going to start talking about, all right, sentiment is something that artificial intelligence helps us with, right? There's stuff out there on Azure to help with this, isn't there?
Yep. Yeah, so if we actually go on to Azure, there's a... it looks like Hugo Doll saying if we could increase my mic a little bit more.
Sure.
Yep.
Got that. Go ahead.
Yep. But as we were saying, so Azure has a variety of services known as cognitive services, which it spans from doing stuff like video analysis or text-to-speech or all these various different things, or using AI to do some natural language processing or video processing for us. And with that, they actually have a service specifically for doing things on text analysis. So whether it be sentiment analysis, as we were doing, or maybe you want to extract key portions of the a phrase that you send in. So just getting various different things from it, you can actually get it through their API.
Very cool. Rambling Geek, thanks so much for that quick cheer and a 6-month resub. Thank you very, very much for that. Very cool.
So I'm going to post the link into the chat for the text analysis API here.
Yeah.
And on the front page, basically, they give you just a way to just test some stuff out. So you can say, you can put some text into basically an input box, and it will give you just various things, whether it be like what languages it is, what key phrases are. Maybe if there's like certain entities, we'll give you like links to it.
So right, this one says, I had a wonderful trip to Seattle, enjoyed seeing the Space Needle, and it's identified Seattle and the Space Needle, and it's got links to the Wikipedia entry for Seattle and another one for the Space Needle. Okay. So if we were to change that and try and do something that's a little bit more negative, I can't stand the fact the New England Patriots won the Super Bowl, right?
Mm-hmm.
You'd think that's, yeah, all right, 50% because it's not, if I turn this, if I say I hate that, the New England Patriots. So, yeah, 3% sentiment. That's pretty negative, okay.
Yeah.
But it's identified New England Patriots and the Super Bowl. Okay. That's pretty cool. On the fly, built this. And Mordecai is already saying, hey, yeah, you know.
And then, as well, if you actually click on that JSON tab in that pane, you can actually get a JSON format of all these various like different things.
Oh, look at that. That is pretty cool. All right, so it has detected English, yeah. And then the key phrases Super Bowl and New England Patriots. Okay. There's the sentiment, 0.2. Yeah.
Yep, so it basically categorizes that between it will say it will give you a 1 if it is like very positive, or a 0 if it's very negative, and then it's evens out between there.
Okay. Stim Unix asks, this is predominant to how underlyingly specific the verse spoken is. I don't know.
Because it's the thing with at least with the sentiment analysis on Azure is it is positive negative. It is a dual classification. It's either positive or negative or somewhere on that line.
Okay.
And with that, like it gives you that if you wanted to have like a more advanced one, you could train a model that says maybe something is sarcastic or various things, but those are fairly difficult things to train upon, because when it's just text, it's difficult to figure out, hey, is this person being sarcastic? Are various things. If it was something like speech, it would be much easier to do.
Oh yeah, you can hear the tone from somebody at that point.
Yeah, but the context with at least with text, it is as similar as Robert Tate was saying, having a global audience is probably pretty tricky to detect nuances like sarcasm, because text is dependent on the culture. It's difficult to figure those things out of just text without really any context.
Yeah, and I like Stim Unix has to put the triple equals between sentiment and sentiment. Yeah, it's not just is it, but it's really sentiment. It's like defining bad, badder, baddest. Absolutely, Stim Unix. Yes, that's right. That's subjective. Hello, Uncle Bill Druin. Well, thanks for joining us. So this is really neat in this JSON results, because it's showing me the offset of those locations, the things that we mentioned, and then there's the Wikipedia URL. Cool. And then a link to Super Bowl in this case. So lots of information that's coming back here. Thanks for the resub, Robert Tables. 4-month streak. Very cool. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to have a different viewer on every so often here. Folks that lead the cheers for the month. As my thanks, we're going to invite you to join us. Good morning, Derek. So this is great. This is a nice little block of information, and it sure looks like, since we're getting JSON back, this is an endpoint that we can hit and query that data. I've got to mute the text-to-speech there just to make sure. While I appreciate folks resubbing, I don't want to interrupt us here. Where'd it go? Text-to-speech. There we go. So when I've guessed, I want to make sure that you can actually hear us. It detects only English and Spanish sentiments. Okay. Got to start somewhere. It's growing, right?
Another month.
Okay. I thought I hit save there. Thanks, Stelzy. I appreciate that. Yeah. I think that should do it now. That's a talk for another time. Yeah. Hey, Svava, thank you so much for that kind cheer. So this is great. We've got the information coming back. This is an endpoint that we can light up using sentiment analysis. We should probably set this up on the Azure portal so that we can start using the service, and we can figure out our endpoint we're going to communicate with, right?
Yep, correct.
All right, so I'm going to go over. Let me make sure I turn on my Azure mask here so I don't inadvertently dox myself again. Not like I do that enough. And here's cognitive services. Daryl Code Stuff. Thanks for the sub with Twitch Prime. Very cool. So I've already got. There's cognitive services. That's what I'm using for the oil tank here. And I'm using the standard. So let me add a new one here.
Okay.
Because you can always have more. Now for it's the text analytics API. That's what we're looking for.
Yep.
So text analytics. All right. There it is.
Yep, I'm going to choose that one.
And we'll create one of those. This has become a lot easier to set up here. So name, let's, what did I call the branch? I want to make sure these things line up. Sentiment widget, so let's call it that. Sentiment widget. I have a couple different subscriptions here. Eeny, meeny, miny, I'll choose you. Pricing tier, so for the zero with the free tier is 5,000 transactions per 30 days. Now, we did a little bit of math on this, and I think we can get away with the free tier on this, right?
Yeah, I think we can. I think it would be good to start out with free tier. So basically, it gives you 5,000 transactions, which basically that means for our use case, one chat message is equal one transaction. So we want to just make sure. Basically, want to send up and see what the analysis is on. At least for us, we're thinking doing it. We want to do it on each one, but then we want to aggregate them over a certain block of period of time.
Yeah. To send each one individually is going to it's going to be very chatty. It's going to eat into that number of transactions. So
yeah. So and then just with that, we just want to just kind of aggregate them all, so we can just see. So we will be passing them kind of one. Well, we're going to batch them together and then pass them up. But with that, it should. We at least can start with a feature, and the nice thing is if it gets close to the limit, we can actually just upgrade to the next tier, which is, I believe it's only $2 per every 1,000 requests. So
let's see. I'll click.
Otherwise, it's still fairly inexpensive.
So text analytics, pricing details, and I love how they grade all this. The below pricing goes for container goes into effect.
It looks like it's not available in Central U.S. So
all right, I like East.
Maybe try East U.S.
Yeah, there we go. So $2 per 1,000 text records that are sent through. So you get 5,000 free. So if you go over the 5,000, you're in at $10 to start.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I have to look at it again, but I'm not sure if it automatically switches over to the standard or if you have to switch it manually.
Okay.
But otherwise, a fairly simple thing to just go into the resource, switch the pricing model, and it will stay as you expected, um,
And just keep running.
otherwise it'll just keep running.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just gonna put this. I'll choose this one. I'm very with my resource groups. Just here, go.
Yeah, I'm trying to get as I've been using Azure more and more, I'm enjoying the benefit of it. So like if you want to spin up a bunch of different resources for a short period of time, and then if you want to just clear everything out, you can just delete that resource group and everything disappears.
Don't know why the mask keeps turning on and off, but there we go. Stim Unix says you can define telemetry and moderate the socket. Yes.
Yep, there you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so then like if we have, say, maybe it's getting close to that limit, we can then maybe send an alert to us saying, hey, you're getting close to your 5K limit.
Yep. Mr. Demon Wolf asks about the mask. Yeah, this is an add-in called Azure Mask that runs in Chrome, it runs in Firefox, and when you're doing presentations like we are here, it will hide all of the keys and important private material that you don't want to share out on the public internet. So we should see that cognitive service jump up here.
It should. Yeah, it spins up fairly quickly.
Yeah, there it is. Right there.
And it's active, so we're all set.
Terrific. So we're going to need to capture some data from here, right?
Yep. So either we may want to just hide the keys off the screen so it's not it doesn't be taken. But basically, when it spins up, there we go. It gives you basically two keys that you can use to hit your API, the API that you've set up using your subscription.
Yeah. So I'm just going to choose one of those. I have it copied off into Notepad here off screen.
Okay.
And I'll click back into, I think is it in Overview? Where it'll show me, there's the endpoint right there. I'll copy and store that one off screen as well. And there we go. There's my quota. I thought there was a way that you could embed that on the dashboard.
There may be, but
it's fine.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So I've got my information about the service. The service is up. It's running.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start building a widget.
Okay.
Cool. I'm going to minimize here and head back over to Visual Studio. Yep. Go ahead. Reload. So this is the Fritz Stream Tools project. I didn't even set a project term here. We're building a sentiment analysis widget for the Twitch chat room.
It looks like since it reloaded, the live share session.
It dropped. All right, let's restart that. Of course, it wants me to re-sign in again. There we go. So I have Benjamin connected. Here it comes. That's not it. Copied the wrong. Copy that. That's the right one.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
All right, so the project term is there. The GitHub account location for this, if you're interested in joining, is github.com /Fritz, and then fritz.streamtools. The only thing that I find this worth is anthropologic sciences, after is really the legal battle. Huh? What are you looking for there, Stim Unix? Let's see. We should get you. Ben should be just about connected here. Mr. Demon Wolf asks, am I close to partnership? Don't know. I applied for partnership about 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago this past Sunday. We'll see. I can tell you that looking ahead while we're waiting for Benjamin to all get connected, Thursday we have Tyler Leonhardt from the PowerShell team joining us. We're going to write some PowerShell. We're going to really look into the PowerShell scripts we have around the Stream Deck. Wednesday next week, I have a very special stream on Wednesday next week. I'm going to New York City, and we're going to stream live from Twitch Studios, from Twitch's office. That's going to be a lot of fun next week. Thursday next week, I have a surprise guest that I'm working on. I have to get him confirmed. Had you guys watched what Noobcat was working on? It's not particularly polite to talk about another streamer during the stream here, but we've seen what she's been working on. Yes. Anyways, all right. So we're in there. You can see you can see Benjamin's his cursor as he's navigating around the screen. This is all Visual Studio Live Share, completely free. Anybody can use it from Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio 2017, Visual Studio 2019. Now, I'm in 2019. Which Visual Studio are you in, Benjamin?
Yep, so I'm actually on VS Code on the Mac. So, and I still have, see everything Jeff sees on his side, but just in a different view.
Yeah, right. We do have a Windows desktop dev workshop that we're planning with some of the folks on the Windows team. Yes. All right. So all the widgets that we have been building here they're web pages, right? And they're in this project, Fritz.stream tools down here.
Yeah.
And we, of course, use ASP.NET Core here. So I've got both controllers, and we demonstrated how to use Razor pages. So for a widget, we just want to, it's just HTML we're outputting and then gets embedded inside of OBS. Would you rather go with a controller or with a page to format? What do you think?
To get the data from Azure?
Well, to display. We can get the data from it right at the C# class.
I think we can do I think we can do either.
Okay. That anarchist dog is saying page. I'm game with that.
Okay.
Auth0 Bobby asks, are there SDKs for platforms other than .NET, Node, or Ruby? SDKs for what? For Twitch?
I'm guessing he's referring to the text analytics API.
Oh.
So I know. Yeah. So what we're going to be using is there's actually a NuGet package for this. If I copy this link here and paste it into the chat. There's basically a NuGet package that actually kind of wraps the endpoint for us. So rather than us needing to get the data and then serialize it into our format, it will it will give it to us basically in a object that we can already handle.
Yep. So using C# to call text analytics. There's also Go, Java, Node.js, PHP, Python, and Ruby. Nice.
So it looks like the majority, other than .NET has something that's already serialized for us. It looks like the other ones just hit the endpoint with a HTTP request.
And then just, especially in Node.js, my gosh, you're getting JSON back. Real easy to traverse the document at that point. So good morning, Mike. Mike Eaton is here. Hello. They've got the HTTP specs. Yep. There you go. Let me click through and show that Hugo is sharing with us. Yep. So there's, the complete API, and you can see the structure of what this looks like. So you can copy it out.
So there's the, if you look at that, basically the data we send in is just an array of IDs, which we basically, so each document, basically it treats each item as a document. So each one has the ID, which is an identifier to define what is going in, as well as the actual text message, the actual text. And then when that gets returned to us, it will give us a document which it will have the ID for each of those ones that you passed in, as well as the score, which is a index from 0 to 1. Well, a value from 0 to 1.
Right, and we also saw it'll include some of those other points of interest.
Yeah, so the at least so the way you actually hit it, it will here is for detecting language. So each one of them are actually separate API endpoints. So if you want to get all the various things, you just have to hit all the various different endpoints.
So entities, key phrases, and then sentiment. That's the one.
Yep. So we're going to want the sentiment one.
So we could hit this HTTP endpoint directly and pass in our keys. Or we can use NuGet with the API and all the things that are built for us to get these back as strongly typed .NET objects. I don't know. What do you think? Should we go bare on the metal and code directly against HTTP, or should we use the package?
The question is, do we want to have to worry about deserializing it when we get it back, or do we want to just get it back and automatically have the data to be able to be digested in our format?
Right. Because and really the package is doing the deserialization for us. It has that strong type in there. I think you got me convinced that we should use the package.
Yeah, I think it may just be easier on our end.
Yeah. Hugo, that would be the way that I would go if I wanted to go bare on the metal and code directly against the wire. But I think Benjamin's right. Let's shortcut this and go directly against the NuGet package. So the NuGet package is, here it is. Wow, they are not for a lack of nouns. Woof.
You keep using the word. I do not think it means what you think it means.
Yeah, that's a lot there. Were you able to hear that?
Yeah.
Okay. Strong types, we have dynamics, says R.H. Sumner. Come on now. Dynamics? Ugh. All right, let's copy this, and let's get it loaded into our project. So I'm going to right-click and, where is it? Manage NuGet packages. Come on. Paste it in. Let's go get it. What do you mean no packages found? What do you mean no packages? Is it in pre-release? It's in pre-release.
There we go.
Net Framework 4.5.2 and Net Standard 1.4. Fantastic. We're in .NET Core 2.1, so that should compile and run properly. And I'm glad to see Mike Eaton's here, because when we're ready to test that negative analysis, we'll get a list of people for his throat punch list, and we'll get them all talking and being their chipper selves here. See, sarcasm, right? Yeah, right, Mike? Mike knows. When I want to test sentiment, I talk to Mike Eaton. There we go. All right, and I'm working on the beard. We're getting there. We're growing it out a little bit further here. No errors, lots of warnings. This is from Python files that I had open. Why is it still looking at Python files? Oh. All right. So I've got the package installed. Let's start building a page.
Yeah.
I think I have to start the page so it arrives on your side. But this should be easy to do. Are you kidding? What do you mean there's no scaffolders? Add new item. Come on now. Where is it? I saw it here. Razor page.
Yeah, so right there.
And let's call this sentiment. I don't need to tell it widget. It is a widget, of course. And then I'm firing up, getting all the annoying people here lined up on my.
Okay.
There we go. All right, so we're in, and we've got a bare HTML page. These pages, if you look at the view imports, don't really have anything in there, and there's no layout with this because we want to just output, right? These don't have layout? I didn't think they did. Yeah, layout equals null, and then it's the full HTML that we end up writing. So what do you think? How should we dive in and get started here?
So I'm thinking starting out, maybe have just a div with just to pass in the number. Maybe we want to start out having a thing of we can maybe pass some data up, like send some of the Twitch chat up into against the API and then gets a sentiment back.
Okay. Get some sort of a number and just paint the number on the screen to start.
Yeah, just trying that.
Okay. So that means we need to do two things. We need to put a place for that number to appear, and then we also need to start wiring into the bot so we can have the bot that's sitting in the chat room feed us some text messages, some of the messages to send up.
Yep.
Okay. Start with a Boolean to test connectivity. No. Of course we're connected. I think that's something we can assume, hopefully.
Yeah, so maybe just starting off, we can just have it be like live. So as like we'll see the sentiment of each message as it goes.
Okay.
Like every single message, and then just pass that down.
Okay. So let's do this. I'm gonna leave follower hub up here. Get rid of some of these other files that I don't need right now. Let's build out some of the HTML here for this. I'm going to just get that initial bit of layout here.
Okay.
End body and HTML. And this is going to be just to put a title on it. Okay. So if you start here, I'll run over to the bot and start figuring out how to filter that data over to somewhere that we can collect it and send it from the page model behind here.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is go to a new vertical here. So now you can see both of us working at the same time. The bot is sitting in another project.
I think it was the end chat bot.
Yeah. So as this receives messages, there it is, on chat, chat message. There's a process chat message here. And look at the user, handle extended commands, return. So if it's not a command, where it would exit here, I want to send it over to be analyzed.
Yep.
Right.
And also, does the chatbot have a system where it will know that it isn't itself? So like it gets a message and it's not itself.
Oh, that it's
because we technically don't need to analyze. We don't need to do a sentiment analysis on like things that Fritzbot returns to us.
Good point. Good point. Mm-hmm. So it let's go back to the previous. So it should know its name here because it does the connection. Yeah. And then right to be able to say, okay, ignore yourself. Mm-hmm.
Show message.
Right, so
I think there's probably in that sender object besides the name. Is it in? Yeah, or user ID.
User ID. Well, that's going to be the user who's sending the message.
Yeah.
Sender it's just an object. Rats.
Yeah.
Thinking. It's a good idea to skip handling on yourself.
Yeah.
So this is configured, and then there's the services. Start and stop. All it's doing is attaching to the chat services. The chat services they're passed in up top here. Get service, chat service. Okay. Those are, so that's the name of the service. Yeah, it's like I need to know the bot username as part of this.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we can extend this and implement that feature on both of the two services that we're connecting to.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do that. Bot username. And then the two services that connect are actually down here. Mixer and Twitch. So I'll start over here with Twitch.
Okay.
Ooh, this is going to be a little bit more than I thought. All right, implement this. So when it connects, it has information about who it is and, right, because it actually reaches out. Start Twitch. Right, there's all the things to handle, blah, 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 blah. Where is it to actually get connected? It's in the chat client, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe chatclient.init there.
Yeah, where's that? Where's that?
If you open up that function again, there's line 80, I believe. There we are.
Yeah, let me jump into that. So there's connect, new TCP client, log trace, right line. Yeah, there it's actually...
Oh, there we are. Settings.chatbot name.
Yeah. So that is... Right, settings are configuration settings. All right. Here in the chat client. So the bot should be setting that up here somewhere. Right. Hey, Kasukin. Let me see here. I'm just looking at the chat. Too bad you can't send directly from the chat via webhook directly to the analysis service. No, you can't. No. Where's that chat client at here? It's being received and built. Wait, that was over in the Twitch services where it's got the chat client. Okay. So that's being received here. Okay. So then I should be able from that new bot name. Where did it go? I added it. Name, bot username. There it is.
Yep, in iChat service.
Yeah. So now if I say return chat client dot, it's not channel name. Settings, there it is. Chatbot name.
There we go.
And I should be able to do the exact same thing in the Mixer service, even though we're not using that. Should still keep it up. Return, so Mixer username is what we use on that side. Done. Good. All right. I think... Nope, that one's fine. And the fake service, does that implement it? Nope, we're good. All right. So now we have the bot username coming back. It is in the I service that the bot receives. So we should be able to find right on chat message, right? We should be able to now find out if it's... Is the sender... Chat.chat message. Right, when that gets raised, is it actually sending along the... itself as that sender? So chat connected, okay. Chat new message is here. Object sender. Yeah, it's passing this. So we've got it.
Okay.
So this is an iChat service. Okay.
Yeah, chat is I remember it. It's there. So chat is it's in so for each chat in chat services. So
yeah. So if we say this chat service equals sender as I chat service. So then I could say if this chat service dot bot username equals e dot username.
Yeah.
Return. Don't process my own messages. Cool.
5 months and then D.
Thank you, Crows, for the resub. I really appreciate that. Why is it still? I thought I disabled the sound. The text to speech. Sorry, we're just going to turn it off. Do you need a null check for this chat service? No, because it's always going to be passed in.
Yeah.
That's always going to be.
Actually, yeah, it looks like in the process chat message below, we actually get the chat service as in there as well.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Okay.
So we could actually escape in here instead of casting it twice.
Yeah, we could.
Let's do that. Let me move that over there so we're not doing it twice.
Yes or no?
So I'll cut that, jump back.
Yeah.
And then if chat service bot username equals E. Good.
Yep, there we
go. All right. Okay, so we're stopping processing if it's ourselves. If it's not a command, how do we know if it's not a command and we need to do analysis? So handle basic commands is going to go through and look and determine, do we need to trigger? And it returns, well, that's...
Yeah. I think that's triggered if if the message at the beginning starts with a exclamation mark. So possibly if we don't want to, if we may just want to do the analysis on everything else other than that.
Okay. I'm there. I'm going to turn this into the case-insensitive match just to make sure. Right, string comparison.
Yeah.
Invariant culture, ignore case. All right. Good. So if it's not processed, we want to send it over to the queue that's going to be sent over. Right?
Yeah.
So where do we insert where do you think we should insert that? Insert that clip. Right? That piece where we're going to grab it.
I'm thinking maybe so I'm looking at the process chat message. So maybe either right here after, so maybe it has a else statement of this right here, or maybe just below it's either way could work, I'm guessing.
Okay. So handle if the basic command is handled, if it's not handled, then it's going to do this. If it
well, this is I'm saying as in maybe in an else here.
Right, because
if it's not a command of anything, put in here.
Right. So it starts with the exclamation point. It's a basic command. So yeah, let's do the capture here. We need to figure out where to send that to. Yeah. Now, before, for where we started with the code suggestion service, I stood up another class that was just a container that held, here's the information that was submitted from chat so we could get back over through the web service.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to stand up something similar, do we?
I think that sounds,
Okay. Hey, Mr. Regs, thanks so much for the resub. So inside the chatbot project, if we add, it's not a helper, but it's going to be up here with commands. Do we call it a sentiment sync?
Sentiments. I think that might, yeah, just as like a queue of messages that will eventually be passed up to Azure.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that works.
It doesn't need to come back into the bot. We need to be able to paint it on the page there on the left.
Yeah, so it'll be a thing that will queue up some messages, send it up to Azure, and then have some data that we can then pass to the Razor page.
Right. So all right, so we'll call this sentiment sync. And we'll end up registering this with the container so that we have one instance of this that's just passed around and shared as a singleton. Don't really need to create something, but we need a queue. It's not a read-only queue, but it's going to be just a queue, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a queue, do we need to put we just need to put strings in it, right? Just the text messages.
I think we just need a string, and then I think we can just do it like as a queue of strings.
Okay. So a queue of strings, and if we, gosh, let's make this public. And this is recent chat messages. I don't want you to set on this. And then new it up so that we have it there. I think that's all we need here for now.
You just have a container that we can push messages into
and share.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So let me get that registered with the container.
Okay.
Stream tools. No, I didn't want to get into the project file. It's going to be under the configuration, startup services. So configure services, and then because ASP.NET Core has an IOC container available to us, right? Look at all these, add singleton, add this, add that, registering that feature so it's available. Before it registers the bot here, add the sentiment sync just so that it's offset. Services, add singleton, because I only want one. Can I just do type? Nah. And the sentiment sync is Fritz chatbot commands sentiment sync.
Yeah.
All right. So then we need to make the sentiment sync available to the bot.
Yeah.
So do you want to add that to the constructor and then stash a copy of that away?
Let's see.
I'll follow you.
It's up here. So it'd be some. Let's see. I'm not sure past like exactly how the syntax is for that. So
okay. Well, here not a problem. So we're going to receive a sentiment sync, and I'll just call it sync here, and we can stash a private copy. I'll just call it _sync. Right, and control dot on that and generate. Let's make it a read-only field.
Yeah. Okay. Read on sync. Okay.
Cool. So we can go back now to that method. Where was it? It was on chat message, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think process.
Yeah,
here we are. Process chat message.
All right.
And then we're saying like down here
in that else.
In that else we want to.
Cool. So we should be able then to just say, right, _sync recent messages in queue e.message, right?
Yeah. So some messages in queue. Oh, that's nice. That I'm actually getting since you have IntelliCode up on your side, I'm actually getting it on my end, even though I'm in VS Code.
Right. It's sending all, not just IntelliSense, but also the IntelliCode, the way the
so
AI has analyzed.
Dot message.
Yeah. Even though, so we can't see it, the IntelliSense appearing here. It looks like you're just really smart and typing fast.
Make it so.
And there it goes. It's just keyed in. All right. So now we've got. So that just puts the messages in.
Yes. Yeah. So actually, Mott said, show me, make sure it only runs for the users and not the bots. So actually, up in it's up on your current line at line 132 mods. We actually have it, so we were checking to make sure that the actual the username that's sending the message isn't the bot. And if that is the case, then we would just continue on.
Right. Would it make sense to also say don't process it if it's the broadcaster?
I think it's okay because maybe you're sending a message to someone in chat, so
okay, works for me. All right.
Okay.
So this will just put messages on that queue, and now we can go back over to the. Well, do we do it in the Razor page? Actually, do the push? Yeah, sure. Let's do it in the Razor page to start.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we go over to the Razor page here, so I'm in the page model. You're over there in the HTML. I'm going to get in the constructor. Let me reformat. So let's get in the constructor a sentiments, not sentiment model, a sentiment sync.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll control dot that. And now I can stash that off. Put that into a read-only field. Okay, so now we're on the web page. We have the values. And we can set up a timer or something to start sending those over whenever there's a thing there. Let's see. I do like how there's an integration for statistical application. You can help automate messages that are trollish and whatnot by redefining sentiment. There's actually a feature where you can have it do moderation directly. I don't want to do that. We've already got Twitch doing a bit of that.
Yeah.
So, all right. So these messages are appearing in, AutoMod. That's right, Stim Unix. So these messages are going to get loaded into the queue. We're going to want to periodically pull off the queue and calculate that value. So actually, we're going to want that as a hosted service in ASP.NET, right? So it's running on a background thread.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Oh no, there goes my green. Okay. Thinking out loud, then. Let me see. Right. Hang on. Okay, hang on. Something like that that's running in the background. We don't want running as part of the page model because the page only runs when we request it. We'd rather have that as that background service in ASP.NET Core. So I think I put this in the wrong place.
Okay.
So let me start. So I've already got these hosted services sitting here in the services folder. I think we need a sentiment service then.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to create another class over here, and I'll call it sentiment service. You could start adding a score to each stream with a top 10 happiest list. That's not a bad idea either, Bobby. Huh. That's a really neat idea.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to do, compare, would them, depending on, if someone, sends a lot of messages, or if, how we would match it. Like if someone sends a lot of messages, or maybe a small amount of messages. Like,
oh yeah, yeah.
interesting.
Okay, so here I now need to. This is where I want to receive the sentiment sync and stash a copy of it. Okay. Now I'm feeling.
So now it's a so now it's a service that will run in the background, and then every once in a while, pass that over to the Razor page.
Yeah. So I'll make that. So when we start, when we stop, there's like a background service that we want to run, a background task. So that background task, I think we set up, right, public async. Oh, here we go with tasks. Something like this. And then, right, we're basically going to say run. I don't care about awaiting it, just do it. So, and then down here for right now, I'll just say return task dot completed task, even though it's actually just going to do like a while loop, right?
Mm-hmm. Because we want to wait like maybe a certain portion of time before it gets all this stuff out of the queue, and then passes it up.
Yeah. So I'm going to return task dot run, and then in here is where we'll actually do the thing.
Yep.
Not lazy. Now, why is it giving me a return keyword?
Is
I think I went in a wait.
You have to wait it. Yeah.
So then
this is more looking like JavaScript.
Don't do that to me.
It's looking a lot like JavaScript.
You're about to get a serious beatdown.
It's gonna happen. So the stop, I feel like, okay, maybe we need to pass a cancellation token in here so that we can cancel this.
Yeah.
Right. Well, is it the same cancellation token? Because we want to be able to stop this. If we just return the task up and it's running, when it comes time to stop, well, let's just set a value. Stop process. There, that feels cheesy. TypeScript actually says King 440. Yeah.
Either or. So I think it was the async await syntax, I think, came from C# that was added into TypeScript and now is out in actual JavaScript.
Yeah. So I'm going to do a task delay, and I'll have it delay 100 milliseconds.
Okay.
And we'll do a loop here, and we'll figure out, all right, is it time to go do some more testing? Consider making this. I need to put an async on there. There we go.
Yep,
just like, yeah. Could you explain a bit more broadly to Navarro? I was just starting using hosted services, and I'm inheriting from background service rather than implementing hosted service. No, you're not doing it wrong. A background service has a couple of things created for you. It's a nice abstract class to get started. I'm doing things a little bit bare metal, a little bit closer to the metal. I'm going to return task completed task here, because this should stop that. So TypeScript, go for the win. Thank you, King.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Yeah. We do. We love it when a plan comes together. So if we're going to send each one of the messages, we want to watch the queue, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're also going to need to store that Azure connection information somewhere so that we can configure it and load it up. And I've got that hiding off to the side in a notepad. So what, do we want to start? We'll send each message?
I'm thinking just starting now, we can just pull a message off of the queue, Well, actually, I guess we could start with I think we can start with maybe just like get everything out of that's currently in the queue,
Okay.
and then pass it up into like pass it up as a batch list into Azure.
Okay. So let's say if sync dot recent chat messages dot any.
Yeah.
So as long as there's stuff on it, the messages are going to be sync recent chat messages all. Right, that'll get me all of those. No, wait. That won't get them all. Hang on. I don't want to do DQ. I would have to DQ each one of these. I could just do a to list, right?
Well, what the API is looking for is a list of inputs, which includes an ID as well as the message. So.
Okay. So we'll need to put some sort of a counter with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's then put this in. Let's go to an array, or we could DQ off of it each one and just punch a number with it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So so if we call this message list, and it's a new list of, and let's make it a tuple type of int and string.
Yeah. Actually, it looks like at least with the quick start, there's a type of input. Not sure where that's come from specifically, but
from the NuGet package.
Yeah.
Okay. So we could formulate each one of those documents. So those are in Microsoft Azure Cognitive Services Language Text Analytics. Oh, keep going. Models maybe. And is it going to be? Is it an entity record?
The input.
Input. Okay.
Yep.
And wow, that's a huge namespace.
Yeah. We could just use it because it looks like in there they pull in the they just pull in using the text analytics models namespace and then it's just input.
Okay. So I'll do another while here. While.
Yep, it's good deal.
Sync recent chat messages any. And then I'll start DQing and creating inputs to add onto that message list.
Yep. So message list.
I'm going to need a counter.
Yeah.
Because we're programmers. We start with 0. New input. And then what do we have as our values? Yes. So if I go counter plus plus, right, so it'll increment that after the fact.
Oh, it's looking for a string, so let me just switch this to, or can we do like counter.toString?
Yeah.
I guess thing. Yep, there we go.
Cool. And then
the message is, text is going to be the message.
All right, so that's going to be sync recent chat messages DQ. So we pulled off the queue. All right, so now we've added these into our message list. And we should have an empty queue at this point because we've loaded it up into this message list collection. So then the next thing is to send it out to Azure, right?
Yep. So,
to get the index from the queue, you can also do a queue.select value index new value. Hugo! Nice. That's even better.
There we go.
Oh my gosh. So I don't need the while. Let me go with Hugo's code there.
Yeah.
That looks pretty good. So
it really doesn't matter, like, as we pass in new messages, like, when we run this continually, they'll have, like, they may have duplicate IDs, but since it's part of different, like, requests, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay, so that'll give me an IEnumerable of string A. What's A? Oh, new value index. So I don't want to select it out like that. I want to do new input. And the value is text and index is ID so that it matches up.
Almost. Yeah, that's your string.
Cool. All right. I'm feeling good here. So next is
So then is this going to return a set of a array of inputs, or
yes, we're going to need, well, that should be a message list, right?
Yeah.
So if we do this, so now I've got an IEnumerable of type input, so we can turn that into an array.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so that does the select. I can force that to an array like that. All right, so we have an array of inputs. There we go. And then we got to clear the queue. You're right.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. And now, what's the command to actually do the analysis?
Yeah, so with that, there's going to be, like, we need to set up basically a client initially to actually pull it in. So let me actually copy some stuff out. So we're going to copy this class here and pass it into our, I think I maybe just put it up the top here. Should I have it? Actually, yeah, I think it's okay here. Here. So if I save it, if I formats, format document. There we go. So this class is basically saying we're going to create a credentials class that will basically saying when we pass in we'll pass in a key and then it will go process it for us. And then we will want to pull this in. Should we create a new client every single time we run it, or should we have it just as a thing as part of the hosted service?
I think we're okay to create one as part of the hosted service, right? Because there's going to be only one hosted service running in the background. So we don't need to recreate it each time, right? If we have just one client.
Yeah. So that's the case. What do we call it? Client. Well, yeah, so then we do
Sure.
Copy that. So private text client. 1, 2.
Yep, control dot should get that autocomplete. The using statement for us, right?
Yep.
I'm going to do that also for our request message here. And subscription key, this needs to come from somewhere.
So that's a string that we want to pass to it. So maybe have it as part of like some settings that we can pass into it. So rather than having a raw string in this file, have it just somewhere else that we have hidden
in a configuration. So if I
in a configuration, yeah.
So let's take this and let's make this a private field, because that's a setting. Okay, so why didn't I take that? Private. If I make this internal, no. Hey, Sunner Ganol, welcome. Or Key Vault, we could get it from Key Vault, but we need to get it in from configuration somewhere. Why isn't it seeing that? Object reference is required.
Try a private const. Let's see if this works. Oh, because it. I think it's because it's not initialized yet. Maybe. is maybe why he's complaining.
Well, hang on. If we say, so this class, this is a private class, right? It's part of that. This needs to have a reference to which sentiment service it's running in to get that thing. So if we make this a private static string like that, now it finds
there
it.
we go.
So it's private static. It's only appearing to this class. Chabard, welcome. Good morning.
And then as well, down here, I think, are we using Central US for the endpoint?
I think it was East. Let me go back over to the
Yeah, let's just
Azure.
go check that out.
So this is, Central US.
Okay, so we do Central there, so it knows like what endpoint we need to go send it to.
Right. Now I'm going to
Save
go.
that.
I'm going to over here on the side open up app settings. So down here, here's Fritzbot server URL cooldown time API key blah 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 blah. I'm going to create another key here, and I'm going to call this sentiment analysis key.
Okay.
I'm not typing it here. All right. And so that was sentiment analysis key from under Fritzbot. Ah, it's following you.
Oh, yeah.
Live share is following you instead of letting me copy. And what I'll do, I'm going to go to a slightly different scene here so that I can grab my...
Yeah, so while you work on this, I'm going to just push in the client's like function to actually send the message up into the client. So we're going. So I think we have public async. Yes, we have the client down here. So we want to do.
All right, app settings, JSON, Fritzbot sentiment analysis key, Fritzbot sentiment. Okay, good. I've got that pasted in. There we go. So, right, you're going to get stuff there. I'm going to go up. Let's do this. I'm going to split the screen here so we can see you working there. I'm going to make sure we bring in that key up here in the sentiment service. So that's I configuration that I need to receive. That should be following you. There it goes. It won't follow. Okay. So I need to go to config, and then I'm going to reach through its Fritzbot, and then is it vertical pipe or is it dot? I always forget this. Bormond, I'm in Visual Studio 2019, and Benjamin is in Visual Studio Code on a Mac. So we're actually using a little bit of both. Yeah, I'm blanking on the configuration navigation. Is it dot or is it... I can't remember. Sounds like a job for system threading reader writer log. Maybe. That could be an issue at some point, but I'm not going to get wrapped up in it now. I forget how to navigate through configuration. ASP.NET Core configuration. Right, to do the... there it is. It's colon. Okay. And sentiment analysis key. So I'm going to store a copy of that in the subscription key. Not what? Subscription key. There we go. So now So now when Benjamin's code that he's writing here to start interacting, it'll have the key to launch and actually pass in and start running that. I am using Visual Studio 2019. Yes. My friends on the Visual Studio team showed me the light. Allison, last week, the week before, got us all squared away. There you are down there. Okay, so we've got the message list. Results, client, sentiment async.
Yeah, so basically I had to, it looks like the sentiment async requires a multi-language batch input rather than just normal batch input.
Okay.
So basically what I did was switch the input to multi-language inputs and then just set the language to English.
Sure.
And then it actually requires a list rather than an array, so I just switched it to .toList as well.
Makes sense. So instead of doing a dot result here, if we did no wait, right?
Okay.
We'll get that coming back. There we go.
Yep,
so now,
we'll wait for that.
All right. So we've got a sentiment batch result. So what's in that result, right? If
so now, so that's actually a
Okay.
So we can actually loop. We can do a for loop over those documents.
Okay. Okay.
To get the messages, we can get the messages out. So we can, if we do first,
just to see what one of these looks like, and there's our score. Yeah. It's a double between 0 and 1. Cool.
Yep.
I need to say hello to our new followers there, Kev Rees, Carapot, and Bormon. Thanks so much for the follows. I really appreciate you joining us. We're getting closer and closer to 5,200 followers. I'm seeing 5,199 now. Pushing and pushing closer. I'm going to end up dyeing this beard rainbow for Microsoft Build. It's coming. It's coming. But I think we want an average for these results, right? For these scores.
Yeah, so we want to basically sum them all up and then push out an average.
So here, the magic of Link. Link actually has an average method to it.
Lovely.
Yeah, so I can do documents dot, and then right, isn't there? Yep, average. And then I need to give it's a func of sentiment.
So then we just pass, so we give a lambda that we could say, for every item, get the score.
And take the average.
That's lovely.
It feels like cheating, doesn't it?
Yeah, because like in JavaScript, if I were to do this, I would need to maybe do a map or reduce or something, and then I would need to sum them all up and then divide it. Well, here you just get a function.
Hugo, that's a good question. Where it has a value, that's not a bad idea to throw a where in front of this, just to make sure that we average where there are values.
Yeah. So where the score is something.
Where score, well, the score is going to be between 0 and 1. So where the score is greater than 0? And, right, score is, score is a null. Oh. So D has, score has value. There we go.
Yeah. Well, actually, with this, we may want to do greater than or equal to, because there may be some sentiment that has exactly 0.
Yeah, yeah.
If it's extremely bad.
Yeah. Okay.
So
probably don't need the and. You're right, Hugo. We can probably get rid of that and just assume that it's the right. Okay. So that'll give us the average back. Now we need to pass that back to something.
Yeah, so now I have this double, and now we want to pass it into the Razor page.
Right. How are we going to get back over there? How should we get it back across? So if eventually we're going to end up doing this, regexes, what is that, Bobby? No. So to get the data across, if we have a client, if we pass the SignalR client around, right? Because eventually we want that to paint on the screen. We can pass that down directly into JavaScript to paint it on the screen, to paint the value. Okay, I'm sold. So we already have a SignalR client sitting next to our hubs, right? So we have the follower hub here. And this is where things get a little nutty. So there's follower client, which has become kind of this generic object that we pass around that has the hub context, right? There's update followers, and that's how we get the follower count here updating. 5201. Thank you so much, followers.
Yeah.
Update viewers, right? That gets that viewer. Update GitHub, that updates the counter up at the top. So if we have another one here, update sentiment, right? Internal void update sentiment. And then we just have whatever that value is, new sentiment, right? And do something here.
Yeah, so probably pass it into like a sentiment group and then send a message with that sentiment.
Yep. Hugo's saying once that's done, keep a running tab of messages, sentiment, and update averages. Yeah, we can get to that. Yeah. Absolutely. So
yeah, because I'm thinking, because we're thinking maybe we could keep, like, as we get stuff through on the JavaScript side, we could maybe store that in some array, so we can maybe get it, like we can process it, maybe like we can see overall across the entire stream how we've been doing, and then maybe we can create a graph and like plot every single like these points that we get throughout time.
Yeah. All right, so I've stored a copy of the client. Nope, that's not it. Oh, I got to call.
Yeah, we already have actually on top. Because do you want me to change the?
No.
You want to name it? Okay. Oh,
You're
yeah,
good.
we're gonna change it. Okay.
And then this is that. Create one of these. Not a variable. Well, I want to create a read-only here. Private.
Do it the manual way.
Yeah, right. Follower client. Give me an underscore in front of that. All right. So now that works. So now down here, we can take that average score and pass it through to update sentiment.
So Zero Bobby had a question. With the Google Translate API, costs go up pretty fast when running against a chat client. What kind of costs are associated with this? So let me actually get you the link to. So there's actually, so on their pricing, if you use the free tier, Azure will allow you to do 5,000 transactions for free on this. So like if in our context, we can do 5,000 messages in the chat until it hits that cap. Afterwards, it is only for every 1,000 messages, it's $2.
Yep.
So overall, it's fairly inexpensive. Like if we had like this on a huge Twitch stream, it would probably get pretty costly given there's so much chat going on. But in our chat room, there's like usually like maybe 300-500 messages per stream, so it's not that much.
And honestly, we can, instead of sending over for each message, we could, wait and say send it once a minute.
Yeah.
Right, to reduce the number of times that we're making those calls over.
Yeah, well, yeah, so we can change the different amount of calls. Like each, so if you actually look at that, each input, it counts as one. So as Hugo Dahl says, is he asking, is it calls or messages? It's actually messages. So each of those inputs counts as one unit.
Okay. Oh, so we can't fake it out. Darn it.
Yeah.
All right.
We could if we made a string, but like we want to separate it because we want to keep each message have its own sentiment overall.
Yeah. I'm going to do that here where we want a sentiment group. We're going to call on sentiment updated, and we'll pass in that value, new sentiment. So this is going to reach out to the clients, the web pages that are connected to a group called sentiment, and call a method on those clients, right? This is pushing down into JavaScript and saying, call a method called onSentimentUpdated and pass in as an argument to that function this new sentiment value.
Yep.
Nice. I'm feeling good about this. I'm feeling good. All right. So the next step then is to go over to that sentiment HTML. And we want this to... I'm going to get rid of some of these things in the code behind because we don't need them. We can make this look like... So I'm going to put in the other one here next to us. Yeah, another page like current viewers. Our sentiment is going to behave very similarly to current viewers.
Yeah.
So we don't need a for each here. We need these scripts down here at the bottom.
Yeah.
I'm going to copy in these few scripts, right? These can go at the right. They're outside of body, right? No, inside. What am I thinking?
Inside. And then maybe while we're doing this, let's just create a div repeat tag. Let's just do a div for now.
Okay.
Well, this so ID equals. We're gonna call this current sentiment.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's gonna be the div that will, and then maybe have we'll just keep it like that for now. Just saying, hey, we're gonna put a value in here shortly.
Yeah. So we'll grab that with a get element by ID, and it was current sentiment. Cool. All right, so we've got a reference to that. So now instead of hub on viewers and doing all that nonsense, but I'm going to steal that anyway.
Yeah.
It's on sentiment updated, and it lowers the first here, so it's JavaScript friendly.
Yeah.
And I'm just receiving let's just call this new value, maybe?
Yeah. It's a good element by ID. We already got the element, so...
Yeah, I can get rid of these, can't I?
Yep.
So...
And then we want to just say sentiment element dot...
text content, right? Isn't that it?
text content.
Now, but new value is going to be... Right, it's a double.
It's a double, so we would just want to multiply it by 100. And then maybe, let's do this a string interpolation, so let me...
Sure, go for it.
So let's do that, so and then put some backtext. So we can, have maybe a, something like current sentiment. So we know, rather than seeing just a random number, it's something there. And then also, let's maybe, wrap that around with a .2 fixed, so we only see. How about we do 2 decimal places? So it would be maybe 68.24 for a random one.
2 might be a little bit too much. A little bit too much space. Let's go to
maybe
1.
0. 1. Okay, 1.
Yeah. Let's see how it looks.
So
go from there.
Yep.
Let's see here.
So now we're saying. Yep. So now, when we get something from SignalR, we'll just say the text content. We're going to just reset the text content of this element to say current sentiment, and then we'll pass that new value, multiply by 100, and then round it off to the first decimal point.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's all we need.
Yeah, I think we're good.
I think that's all we need. Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. I don't want to run Docker. I want to set this project as my start. So I'm going to set this as the startup project. And I think we're ready. Let's start it. And then we'll navigate right to /pages/sentiment and see what pops up here. Here we go. Engage, says Bobby.
Make it so.
Yeah, make it so. All right, here we go.
And then graph it. Exactly, you would all.
Yeah, yeah. So, assuming this comes through. Now, is Mike Eaton still here? I need to make sure that we've got our negative sentiment test subject ready to go. Right? I kid. Mike's a great guy.
Oh, and that's lovely. That since we're doing live share, I'm getting the webpage as well.
Yes.
It
Isn't that
just
cool?
passes over. Yeah, I love like it. They initially like in the early beta they had it where you had to basically open that page on there on to be opened up, and then you'd have to view it as well. But with this, we actually just get it by itself.
All right. So there's nothing popping up yet. But if I go to the console, so far so good. Nothing going on, nothing output yet. So,
Okay, so do we create?
Okay. So the questions now are we getting all the data being passed through? I'm earning my spot on the throat punch list. Yes. All right.
Okay, that's why.
You're about to get a serious beatdown.
I bet he's going to add a bias against you. Let's see what we got here. Where are we disconnected? Something's not coming all the way through. Is the bot getting... Let's start with the bot. Is it getting the messages and putting it into our sync?
Yeah.
So if we start back over here... So if bot username equals this, don't process my own messages.
So maybe put a breakpoint on line 145 to see does it hit.
Are we hitting
We're
it?
going to enqueue it on the queue.
All right, so there we go. All right, so we are getting the messages getting into the sync. Good.
Okay.
Keep that going. So let's go over to the hosted service. So if sync recent chat messages any, and it should be doing this every 100 seconds, every 100 milliseconds. So if I put a break there, well, that's not running. Is it... Did this even run? Right? Have I over...
And so we got this. Well, we have stop process.
Oh, wait.
Oh, we haven't set stop process.
We haven't put this service into the project yet.
Oh.
Yeah, Stelzy's right. Stelzy's got it. We didn't.
There we go.
We didn't start the service. Points to Stelzy there. There you go. I'm not sure where you can use it, but there you go. You've got some points. Yeah, you know what? You can trade in those points to get off of the throat punch list. That's the way I understand that works. So we need to do services, right? And in order to add those hosts, it's isn't it a singleton? Where is it? I add the services. Make sure I do these the same way that I do the Twitch add hosted service. There it is.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. All right. So add hosted service, and then it's sentiment service. There we go. And that should do it, right? That should just be the thing. I can't imagine being a Saints fan right now. The rage must be real and white hot. Yes. Just notice that Kevin's on the list. Replace it with me. Fantastic. I feel so much better about that now. Here we go.
So now we have the service. So let's go restart.
Here we go. Come on. Come on. No whammies. No whammies. No whammies. Standing by with sound effects. It's what I do. All right, so the bot's all started up there, waiting, doing a thing. All right. So it's actually hitting the debugger there. Good. Let's go back over to the sentiment page. All right, nothing's appearing yet, which isn't terrible yet. is it actually hitting and getting stuff back from Azure? So here comes here comes the really cool thing. I'm going to set a breakpoint down here on where is it? There's where it's doing the client, right?
Yeah, the client.
So let's do it after it on this average score here.
Yeah, there we go.
And it looks like it isn't hitting down here at all. Put a breakpoint back up here on this. So recent chat messages, any. I'm still getting 0 coming through. Are we seeing two different instances of this? We may have two different instances of the thing. Of the sync, even though we told it to add a singleton, which feels weird.
Yeah.
It's not throwing, Hugo. It's just never getting down here to where it's pulling off of this. So let me go back to configure services. Let's just...
Yeah.
So add singleton. So this should be creating just one sentiment sync. And when we request it, it should be giving the same instance. That's strange. No, we didn't new one up that anarchist dog. It should this should be giving us just one of these as we request it. We
so in sentiment service we make a request a sync.
Right.
And we set that to be we set a local reference to that in our service.
Right. It's stored there.
And then we're just using that inside like the run task.
And in the bot, where'd it go? We're receiving it here and similarly stashing a copy of it. Is it a singleton? Well, we initialized it as we configured the service as a singleton. So, right, we should have that one instance being passed around, but it sure isn't one instance. At least it doesn't look like it. I'd hate to make that queue static. That's going to feel weird if the queue is... Well, wait a sec. Oh my gosh. No. No, let's go down into this. Let's make the where's the sync?
Yes, okay.
If we make this static, I mean, it's kind of forcing it. So that we only ever have one of these.
Yeah, so there'll only ever be one queue. No matter how many versions of Sentiment Sync there are, there's always going to be.
Yeah. So I never have to pass in, actually, the Sentiment Sync. I can just reference Sentiment Sync dot.
Yeah.
Right? So I can get rid of this. I can get rid of that.
We have it here, and then also in the sentiment service, we'll need to.
Yep, we can pull it out of there as well.
Do it there as well.
So I'm going to remove that. And one of these. And then, yeah.
Yep, and then.
And that.
Okay,
why not read only? Yeah, we can make it read only. Sure. That way you can't overwrite it, but it already is because it has a private setter here.
Yeah.
So let's give it another shot. Here we go.
Let's try again.
Backing up. Come on. Hit it. Okay.
Let's go
And
here.
And then,
it started.
and then,
The browser opened.
and then,
I went to the sentiment page.
and then.
I opened the console. And now success, hopefully? Nothing yet. All right. So let's go back over to the service. We've got the breakpoints here. It's not even hitting these breakpoints now.
So some missing the recent chat messages is still.
It's not hitting it. Yeah, is right.
Then in Fritzbot, we let's go back here.
Is it adding the messages? Sure, let's go back over to there.
Yeah, so let's maybe put a breakpoint here on when it's going through.
Just to see if it adds it. So go ahead, chat room. Let me see you talk it up here.
Yeah.
Anyone home? Oh, okay. So it's not getting down to there right now.
Interesting. Is it hitting this process chat message? Like, let's try another message.
Sure.
Yes.
No. So we're not even getting into. Wow. But it's clearly.
So we're waiting. So on chat message, it's the sender and the args.
We're not even hitting the user key.
Let's try putting maybe.
We're not getting the error message. So if we put it here, lots of buffering tonight. Are you getting buffering? Let's see. Yeah, we didn't get the transcoders today.
And then?
We're gonna have to keep walking this back. So on chat message, we should be getting.
That goes.
Why isn't it getting anything here? Think. Because we clearly see, look, ignoring Azure Q&A. Wait a sec. That's the other bot. But still.
Yeah, that's the other one.
Intensive debugging in progress sign. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting the message. So it's supposedly receiving the messages, but it's not hitting this on chat message.
Right. So if we walk that back, right, it's wiring them up here.
Yep. So I'm start async and stop async.
Okay, don't need that. Don't need that.
Huh. You could also suggesting maybe disabling the live bot for a moment and see if that's maybe an issue.
Sure. Let's shut him off. Okay. So now there's only one bot in the chat room. Okay. My bot didn't answer. This bot is for Heroes of the Storm? No, it's not. Let's restart. See if we can see it pop up on any of these. One bot to rule them all. No, I play heroes. This doesn't. They definitely need one. All right, starting. And all right, so I got the web page opened.
Yep.
We're not at any breakpoints here for the bot. No, it looks like it's not attaching. And these aren't loading either right now. There they go. Okay, that loaded. Huh. Is it possible that No, the bot is absolutely hooked up because I'm getting messages coming out. These messages are coming off of a console write line inside the bot. Right, it's doing like a... Right, not log warning. Yeah, user join, log information, that's it. Did I inadvertently... Is it crashing as it's starting? Thanks to our new followers, Aris Docs, Dilly Daleks, and Lord Tidion. Tidion? Nice. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, so user join and user left. So those are both void functions that will just log steps through.
Yeah. I want to put a breakpoint up here in the configuration to make sure that we're at least creating the bot.
Yeah.
Let's restart again. Not browser link. Restart.
That's great that the user joined and user left messages are looks like being triggered, but not on chat message. Or kind of is, but kind of isn't. Oh.
Okay, so we're at a breakpoint in it
Yeah.
creating the bot. Okay. So there's the trace information coming out. So here's the folks that are connected. Okay. But we're not getting the chat message raised. The heck? We've gone too far. So, all right. Yeah, let's back up a step here. So this actually comes out of the chat client, which is down here in the Fritz Twitch chat client. So down in here, there's connect, send message, check throttle, post message. Collapse all this up. Where is it? Receive message on thread. So read message if string is null or empty, logger, log trace. This we know is working. Process message. Put it one right there.
Let's see.
Okay. So that's me just typing test. Okay. Step in. So username, message, chat client, match, blah, blah, blah. If username...
Oh, wait. This is Fritz to chat client. Yeah, so this is okay. So this is some posted message.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Right. So
this
username was me. The chatbot name was Fritzbot. So we're good to keep going. If string is null or empty, username message contains join. Nope.
Skip that. If the message.
Right. So it is a chat message. Okay. Good. The message.
We received that message.
Okay, so new message, invoke new message. that should bubble up. Yeah. Chat client, new message. Okay, chat message. Chat message is null in Twitch service, so it's not invoking here. How did that get disconnected?
Weird.
Right, because that should be executed. Did I delete too many things in the header of this? In the constructor? I think I did. I think I did. Because we're chat services. So there it is calling process message. Right, that which is where we left off. Okay. I think I accidentally deleted something up here in the configuration.
Okay, so this is for the is this the Fritz bot or is this the
This is in the Fritz bot. Off to a meeting. All right, take care, Bobby. Yeah, let's look at the git diff and see what I changed. We may have inadvertently clobbered this.
Yeah. Let's see.
If I go to Fritz, is it fritz.chatbot? There it is. So git diff fritzbot.cs. What?
Okay, Fritz chatbot. So it takes in a configuration, service provider, and log factory. Config, service provider, log factory.
Right, I want to see what changed in this file. Well, git diff head fritzbot cs. Nothing. What? All right, here we are. Fritzbot cs. It's really not clear what's going on there.
That service. Services, service provider, Git services, chat service, to array.
When in doubt, use Visual Studio Code because it's really not clear what's going on. So, I want to make sure I point out there's the Elgato logo in the corner. Big thanks to our friends at Elgato for their support. And we've got folks wandering off. I'm thinking it's almost time to give away a Stream Deck. Come on, source control thing. Show me the stuff. Too many things to load for Visual Studio Code. What did I miss, says Gary. Hey, Gary, we are wiring up sentiment analysis to the chat room. And for some reason, the bot is not connected right now. So, come on, I want to get this working, and then we can do our giveaway and have some good time. Come on. Connected to Discord, good. That only took forever.
Send outside chat service. Send outside chat service.
Yeah, this is still loading. I've got too many add-ins is what I've got.
The weirdest thing is, like, it's not even hitting the process chat message.
No, something got disconnected there. So let's go back in. I'm not a C# dev, but I like the content playing with this against my stream last year. Oh, thanks for joining us. Is that Ponographers? Nice. See what you did there. All right, so there was a change up here. A line cleared out, big deal. If chat service bot username in process, we're not even at that point. No. Well, it's in the client. Right, so we went from in Twitch service, we added the bot username, which is chat client settings, chat bot name.
Yep.
Okay. And in configure services, we just added the sentiment sync and hosted service. Okay.
That's
I thought we changed the chat client. Oh, thank you for the pronunciation there, ponographers. Wow. Why isn't... Right, it's like chat. It's like chat services when this gets started here, it's not wiring that up. Let me put a breakpoint right there. Let's make sure it's actually...
Supposedly, Hugo is saying we changed where the cast is done to the interface. What interface, though?
I didn't... Not in the bot.
For iChat service.
No.
I think like if we scroll back down, because we get all the chat services there and such.
Yes.
We just added a field into it.
Yeah, we moved the bit there.
Let me check.
So, so Chris, the project command is offline because we're working on the bot right now. So let's try debugging and make sure it's actually hooking up the chat message event here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start simple. Make sure that what was changed in iChat services. We added the bot username to that. Here we go. Starting. So we should see it start to hit some of these things.
Let's see.
And
then?
All right. So there's extended. So it hit chat services.
Yeah. So it's.
And then it should come through the.
And is chat services like does it have content inside it?
Yes, it has one.
Yeah,
it has
Twitch
service.
It has chat service.
Good.
So
Continue.
there is a chat service in there.
So it hit the chat client already to start processing messages. But it never got to...
It never passes it to first.
It never called start async.
Yeah, that's weird too.
This was never called. So yeah, it doesn't wire up to the events.
Yeah, so we start up Fritzbot. So it's creating the constructor. But it looks like it never starts it never runs start async.
Right.
Do we do something that it doesn't add the service into the application?
It's gotta be. The only changes we made over here were to add the sentiment service, and so sentiment sync right now is a singleton. We
Telling
can
my
get
boy
rid of that.
who I picked up from school early how the donations to black girls. Code works plus matching.
Thank you, Carrie, for that very kind cheer. Yes, we will make a donation to Black Girls Code. Thank you so much. I need to get a couple of those cheers logged here. So we need the sentiment service is occurring over here. We're fine with that, but here's where it's adding.
Okay, so we add that hosted service, and then we add a singleton of Fritzbot.
That didn't change.
Do we need to do add hosted service Fritzbot? Like services dot, or does it automatically connect?
It should. Let's try converting that. A Foramitri. Thank you so much for the follow. Yeah, let's try that instead.
Yeah.
And see if it kicks off.
Yeah.
If we got trapped in an ASP.NET Core versioning here.
Mm-hmm.
So Here it comes. Going, going, going. All right, so...
Okay, so it hits.
So we've initialized it. There's the chat client. It still hasn't called start service, start async. Right? This is an I-hosted service. And it never started this. It's supposed to start and manage these.
Huh.
Okay, that's weird. Right?
Huh.
I mean, it's definitely creating it. Right? Go back over to here.
Yeah, the constructor is working. It's just not like then further executing. It's in the constructor and then it's.
It never starts it.
Let's go look back at the constructor then. So we get the service. We search provider. Set demands.
Are any of the other hosted services starting? Well, the chat. Let me go over to configure services. Right, we clearly see the chat client running. Right, so add stream service. And this is a method that we wrote that add singletons for these as I-hosted services. It never adds them as a hosted service. So let's try adding it like this. I think that's the way we... And it's actually creating it here as well. So let me go back up. It's running, I know. If I debug this, it was add singleton I-hosted service Fritzbot. That was at one point working. I think we need to do same thing here. Add singleton I-hosted service stream sentiment service. That works. I'm wondering if add hosted service kind of threw that whole thing off. Right into the things after it didn't know what to do with. Hey, 3Lava, what's I'm not sure what you're trying to do with the language command. I don't have that command currently configured or enabled. Here we go. Okay. And
then.
Where is it? I'd like to find it. Okay, so the chat client's running. Web browser started. And it never called start. Did we see the add hosted service down here? Let me go back down. Build service provider. Add stream service called add singleton, add singleton, add singleton. It never called add hosted service. Yeah. Hey, Clark IO. Yeah.
Hey, Brian.
That's really interesting because this was working. And these add stream service things here, which are word wrapped, so they look really funky. They call down through here. And yeah, add. And then, well, they add it also as a straight singleton as well.
Yeah.
So, and they're not. So, all right, let's do it that way. Even though, right, the service being passed in is, where is service coming from? It's creating a new one and then registering it as a singleton. I mean, I guess we can do that, right? This just feels wrong. And it's clearly not. Right? The bot start never was called. Is there anything? Oh, dear God. So much data being dumped out by. Yeah. I don't want to
try commenting out the sentiment service like for a quick second and see if we can get like the chat back running again. Like if we can get the bot running again.
Sure.
So the test. Because even if the sentiment service isn't running, we still should be able to get the base bot. Like
right. So now it's all that's added to configure services at this point are commented out. Here, this is starting up. Come on.
Yeah, so it's not. So now it won't start our sentiment service or sync. So it should. Like,
there it is. Now it's starting async. And now we're in.
Okay. So now with that, thinking about this, then there was something either in the sentiment sync or the sentiment service that was catching it. Like it wasn't.
So sentiment service needs to start a follower client and then I configuration. So do we need to add that down lower?
No, well, the follower client is right there, and I think the config. Yeah, so if you line 35, the follower client's already initialized, so that's good. And then the config, I believe, is like already there.
It should be, yeah. So let's just, for the sake of
try on commenting the sentiment sync as well, and then possibly just pull it down as well.
Well, I don't think we need this anymore because sentiment sync only has one thing in it, and it's the queue. We're not using it. We're not referencing it anywhere.
Okay,
so I don't think we need that. Let's just move sentiment service down to the bottom here. Try and make it the last thing that it's trying to new up and configure here, using the same syntax. And sentiment service is an I-hosted service. Okay. So let's see if that helps. Try and register the sentiment service. I think Stelzy might be on something.
Yeah.
Which feels, I don't know. All right, so going. There it is. All right, so we're in the start for the bot. And it's registered and supposedly handling. But there was something up here. Failed to determine the HTTPS port. That's fine. So am I getting messages? Await process chat message. I'm inside the bot.
There we go.
All right. So it was the positioning of that. That's
Okay,
weird.
so now it goes into process manager.
Yeah. So now we can undo some of these debugs.
Yep.
Recent chat messages in queue. Cool.
Okay.
All right. All right. We're getting there. We're getting somewhere.
Making progress.
Making progress. All right. So, actually, can we just go to the sentiment page and does it have content? Okay.
Oh, good. Aaron.
LaFoiska, thank you for the follow. And Gareth,
Oh.
really appreciate the resub.
Unable to resolve service for type sentiment sync while attempting to activate sentiment model.
I thought we removed that.
Yeah, I thought we did as well.
No, it's on the page there.
Yeah. Okay,
Come
so
on, go away. We can do this. We can do this.
come on.
You can do it!
It's almost there. Come on. And oh boy. All right. All right. I'm going to remove these debugs now that we know that it's actually wiring all that up. And back to the page. Okay. Did it do a thing? All right, so let's go to the sentiment service.
Yeah.
Because we know it's putting messages on the queue.
Yeah, so let me do like a breakpoint right there, and see if we have. It will hit this.
So how does the service handle smileys? That's a great question. That's a really good question. What does it do with emotes that come through? So this doesn't appear to...
Let me pause it then here.
Right,
Is it
or
something
even...
with stop process not being initialized? Because we initialize it. Because then it would be, I think it would be undefined or null.
It should default as false. But
Yeah.
let's give it a shot.
Okay.
I'm wondering if we shouldn't be awaiting this task.run. If instead we should just be returning it.
Yeah, let's try that.
Or just doing a task.run? No. Turn that off. Return it. And then up here in the start, say return. S&B, thanks so much for the sub. Tier 1. Wow, thank you very much. If we say just await run on start. So now we run back into, well, this isn't async.
Yeah.
Which makes we need to await this. Which means this needs to be async. Oh, I'm chasing now. I think... So start will never return from here. That's not too bad. You'll do your own hype? No, it's just what you can do. Because the hype command is off. Yeah, sorry about that. Thanks so much, Gareth. Appreciate that. And S&B, thank you so much as well.
Yeah, so we got to have a breakpoint on the while loop for while it's not stop process. So if it goes into that task, it should break.
Yeah. Right. So here it is, starting up, and So, and start async should have been called. So here we're running into the same thing that we saw with the bot, where it was an I-hosted service and it didn't get started. So let's go back to configure services, right? This down here on line 54 is never getting initialized and called properly.
What'd you do?
I don't know. What did we do?
Let's try this. Let's try putting a breakpoint here in just inside the constructor to see if it actually initialized, like if the sentiment service at least like starts the constructor. So I'm gonna
Sure, just to see if we get
start
something.
that.
All right,
Yeah.
we'll kick it back off again and see what we get.
Yeah. So if it eventually like enters,
Yeah, so it's entering, okay. And then it's not calling start async. Sentiment. And it never goes there. This never gets triggered. Is it because I put the async on it? Right, so if I turn it back around like that. So multi-threading magic deadlock. That's what it... I think you're onto something there, Stelzy.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because if we look at if I go over into Fritz bots, start async is synchronous and turns out a task. Yeah.
And now that's running. But it didn't actually start the service. Should that not be add hosted service, not add singleton? So that's one thing that we tried. Right? Oh, look, now it's hitting the run. Did you see that when I hit stop?
That's going on.
So if we just do run here.
Yeah.
Right? That's not going to, because the call is not awaited, continues before it.
It'll synchronously, therefore it should jump into.
Right. I want to do return.
Yeah, let's try returning that.
And it doesn't like that because this needs to be like that.
Okay.
Now that's clear. So now if we make this return here.
So returns this task got run.
Which should start up and hang in the background then.
Yeah.
All right. No, it's there. It's running it. Try to remove the whole task.run thing. That's not a bad idea either. We've got an extra task running going on here. We might have a task running a task and getting confused. What kind of execution context are you in? We're inside of an I-hosted service. One too many awaits. I think Stelzy's onto something.
That might be it.
Yeah, because look, it hasn't called. It's not down in here. Let's get rid of this extra bit there.
Yeah, so just have it running for itself.
Okay. So then that means this needs to be async. Task run. There we go. Okay. And that returns this. Do we actually have a thread pool context, or is this a single-threaded environment? Well, this is inside of an ASP.NET Core web server. So it's single... When you create things as a hosted service, they're spun off on their own thread next to the standard processing of requests. All right, so there it is, starting up the sentiment service. At least creating it.
Yeah.
And it looks like it didn't start the run. We didn't start the run. Hang on, let's go over and look at Fritzbot for a second. When it gets started, in its start, it creates the message handlers, the event handlers, and then returns a completed task. So in our service, and in the Twitch service over here also, where it starts doing its listing, in its start, right, so it jumps into this start Twitch monitoring. Come here. In start async. So it's async task, and then we awaited that. Right, and then this does try and a catch. And at some point here... No. Yeah, proxy watch viewers. So, Shadowmaker, thank you for the follow. So maybe this just needs to be... Oh, stop it. Await. Nope, that's not going to work because that's not async. Compile failed. So if we make that async and then just await run without that extra task in there.
Right.
Might be that start async can't be long running. Don't know. Because we're definitely doing that with the Twitch service and the Fritzbot. They're both doing that. So I think we're really close. All right, so there it is creating. And so the bot is working back here. It's doing its thing, but we haven't hit the run here. Is it possible that one of the other services is blocking this because we're awaiting it on a start async for that service? Right. We need to tell it to that the task is complete in start async. Is that right? So Twitch service, is this never returning? Right? It should be. It should get down to the end here and be done and return. Right? And then that kind of explains if this is below something that's not properly returning and handling. Right? Because... Yeah. Right, like I want to start this on another thread and then come back and then and then return a completed task to indicate, okay, it's running. It's in the background running. Right? So that's why I was thinking we need to do something like task. Right, if we do task run.
So if we do it there.
Right, that feels really weird. Right? No. Oh my gosh. Could we do this as a background task? This is a background. This is a hosted service.
Maybe remove async here.
Okay. Right. So then if we do the await here, and then we need to return.
And then it's saying not all callbacks. So return values. Now we just need to say it's completed.
Because it's running in the background.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That feels weird. Is it Service Fabric? No. No, this is not Service Fabric. This is ASP.NET Core. And it's running inside of a console. So, and I've actually got to stop soon because I have a call I need to get on at the top of the hour. Now, I think something else is blocking. There's a for loop of the hosted services that it's going through, and it's blocking and not getting here. Right? That we're not getting there. And if we look at our configure services, right, we had this running before the bot before. I have a feeling the bot is blocking. Right, so if we move this now up, right, and if we go to the bot and go back into its, let's set that breakpoint back up where it was connecting to the services. Where is it? It was start async. There we go. Put that back in. Now we should be able to see both of them start. Here. Interested to start programming. What language should you learn first? Asked Joffe. I think everybody should learn at least 2 programming languages because you're going to run into and have to use multiple no matter what it is that you're working on. I really like C#. I mean, heck, my name is C#, Fritz. So there it is. There it's starting the sentiment service. There it's starting the bot. And now we're in run for this.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we got that.
Okay, so now.
So now that.
Yeah, remove that breakpoint.
Okay. So there's messages. So let's remove that one and see if it gets down to the sentiment.
Come on.
All right.
There we go.
And 9
Documents has a count. And there's a score.
So if we turn that off. Okay, if I go back to here. And where is it? When am I going to learn my first? Oh. Almost there. So where are we attaching? Let's go back over to the page, and we can edit the page on the fly here. Sentiment. Look at the HTML. Okay.
Current sentiment.
So we're creating a new stream hub, and so we haven't subscribed to the sentiment group, right? If we go over to current viewers, we look at how that processes. Where is it? Hub.start viewers. We didn't do hub.start down at the bottom here. You actually need to tell it, hey, go ahead and connect.
Gotcha.
So hub.start, that's not a dot. And it's behind my head, I realize. Let's move that over. Sentiment. So it tries to connect and connects into the sentiment analysis. WebSocket connected. Yeah. And then what is the logic link, GitHub service, and chat? There isn't one. That's something different. We'll get back to that. I'll talk to you about that in a minute. So groups equals sentiment. Right.
Go here, and we go into hubs. Hub.
Right. Is it actually calling through to here? Mm-hmm. Yes. So it is trying to pass out the sentiment. Okay.
Okay, so now let's go into the page, and maybe in this callback saying like if on sentiment updated, let's maybe just console log out new value.
Sure, go for it.
To see if it ever like actually goes in there.
Okay.
So we'll save that.
Refresh this. Hub connection closed. Groups equals sentiment. Okay, so it's connected. If we go over to the debugger, we're so close. I can feel it. Yeah, we need more caffeine. Come on. Do it. So it's trying to send to the sentiment group on sentiment updated. We're right there. We're right there. Followers. So, yeah, that's never used here.
Ooh, that. He would also said, does it automatically change the case on the event name from uppercase on to lowercase on? So let me go back into...
So if we look at current viewers, just to draw a comparison here, there's a method here.
So the in JavaScript is lowercase o.
Right.
And on viewers.
Over here, on viewers count updated. Oh, wait a sec. Where's on viewers? Right, hang on. Update viewers calls group viewers send async on viewers count updated. Wait a sec. Oh, maybe you're onto something here. Maybe. Let's go back, look at the... It's in the JavaScript Stream Hub because we've significantly simplified this. Start groups.
Yeah, so there's an on viewers thing in the constructor up there. And then when it gets on viewers count, so when it calls that, it's
Let's take a look at the GitHub one. Which is a view. GitHub, horizontal scroll. So this does hub.onUpdated repository username commits. Yeah, so here we go. You're right. It was, so StreamHub has this on followers. So let's do this on, what was it, on sentiment.
Yeah, so if you do on sentiment, I'll switch over here on this end to on sentiment.
Yeah. So let's collapse these up. And then if I add another... So we
went on sentiment update, I believe it was.
Is that what it... yeah, there it is.
Yeah, it was on sentiment. It was on sentiment updated.
Okay. And we're just going to... We're going to receive new sentiment. If this debug, console debug, on sentiment updated, new sentiment, this.
And then we'll change it to this to on sentiment.
Yeah.
In
Okay.
Oh, wait, one moment. On line 42,
oh, yeah.
That you want to change to this dot on sentiment.
There we go.
Yeah.
So now I should be able to just hard refresh this and get connected. Okay.
There we go.
Boom. It's a thing.
There we go.
It's like magic. Only with sentiment. So, where's Mike Eaton? Mike, tell us what you really think. Happy, happy, joy, joy. There we go. Put it in a container and ship it. We got it.
There we go.
Yeah. Wait, that was something nice from Mike. What is this world coming to? Loving the Ren and Stimpy references. Oh my gosh. We got there. We got it. Did I say thank you to Shadowmaker for joining us? Thank you. Don't put Mike in a box. And it's still keeping a very high sentiment there. Oh, look at that. 2. Burn it all down for Kevin. Nobody puts baby in the corner. Nobody puts Eaton in the corner.
Okay.
That's great. So, I mean, we've got the basics of this. It's calculating and showing us the current sentiment for the recent messages. Now, right, we've got somewhere that we can benchmark and we can say, here's a place to jump off from. Here's where, yeah, look at that. Stelzy now put down this ugly sentiment and went to 13. But now we can start putting in an arrow to indicate some status. We can put in a graph. We took so much time debugging and getting to this point. Now we can do the visualization. But I need to run. I need to call it here. So here's what I'm going to do. This is great. I'm thrilled that this works. We'll figure out ways to make that look cool. But in the meantime, I am going to add all these changes. Go up 1. And let's do a git commit. And we need to pass in a message. I want to make sure it brings up the editor here, because I want to make sure I put in a co-authored by on this. Added sentiment widget. And now it's co-authored by. And then I need to grab your name to drop in there. How does that look on GitHub?
I think my email on GitHub is...
I want to make sure I get the syntax right.
Pretty sure it's like the... Let me check how it is.
Yeah, co-authored-by. Ah! Booyah is about right, Gary. Absolutely.
Yep, and for the email, I think I say put in Benjamin at LannonBR.com.
Benjamin at LannonBR.com. Fantastic.
Okay.
And I will sign. And we will push feature sentiment widget. And there's a thing. Fantastic. Oh my gosh, we got it. Woo. Well, thank you so much for your help. This was cool. This is going to be great when we put a little bit of nice user interface around it, and we can stash it somewhere here on screen, maybe right below the chat room, so that folks can see here's the current sentiment, here's what's going on, here's how happy folks are right now in chat. And it just took a couple lines to get the data from Azure. That was neat. If I run out to Azure real quick and just look at the portal so we can see where'd it go. Not there. Over here.
Yeah, it was.
Right, if we...
First one. Yep.
Can we get a refresh on this? Isn't there a refresh button? No. Just to see what it looks like. And then we'll call it a day. There'll be an archive available over here on youtube.com/C#Fritz. I'm running a little bit late. You know what? I'm going to give away the Stream Deck. Let me think. Yeah, let me give it away next time. Just because I am out of time and I'm running here. But look at that. I've still got tons of time remaining. Tractor Farm, thank you for the sub with Twitch Prime. Yeah, but that's not bad. Not bad at all. It's running nicely. I'm going to stop this in the background. And we'll look at merging and getting some more features into there. Very cool stuff. Thank you. Thank you for your help. I think our friend Mark Miller is going right now. We can set up and raid over to him. Very cool. Do you have any words you want to share with the folks out there in the chat room before we take off?
I don't think anybody.
Cool. All right. Well, let's play that Mario music. And let's get ready to raid Mark. He is code rushed. If you want to hang out, if you want to go see Mark, sit right back. You don't have to do anything else. And you'll be magically whisked over there. Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Benjamin. This is great.
Yep, you're welcome.
Thanks so much, everybody, for watching. Like I said, the video will be archived and available over on the YouTube channel a little bit later. And we'll see you on Thursday when my guest will be Tyler Leonhardt, and we're going to talk about PowerShell. Take care, everybody.